absolutely. That's what we wanted to do. In our last game in Charlotte, is we didn't want to enter the playoffs on a bad note. So, we kept it rolling. We played well, and we wanted carryover to the playoffs. And I think playing well. I think we're going to continue to play well, and just play our game.
How come you've been able to kind of matriculate into this system so quickly and so effectively?
I think my coaches and teammates do a great job of putting me in positions to be successful. And my job is pretty simple out there. And if I keep hitting singles and doing the little things out there, big things follow. So that's my main focus is starts on the defensive end. Making sure we're organized, and then making sure we get into sets on offense, and giving guys a chance to do what they're great at. And we've been successful at it.
Michael, when T. Ross has it cooking on the second unit the way he did last night, how much does that energy become contagious? It seems like it just spreads to guys.
Yeah, I mean he's been great for us. He's been scoring the ball. Probably the best in the league the past 3-4 games. So when he's getting it going like that, we're a hard team to stop. Especially when we got other guys who can put it in the hole too. So yeah, he's been a big part of our team, and we're lucky to have him.
You notice a different person. I mean, he was a guy who kind of took a back seat to Lowry and DeRozan, and he's come here and Dwayne Casey was saying, like, he's coming in to kill teams now. He's not that third, fourth option the way he was in the past.
Yeah, I think he senses that our second unit needs that. We need him to be aggressive. We need him to take shots and play with an open mind, and just whether he can shoot it, whether he can put it on the floor a little bit. I think his game has really expanded, and I think he's gained more confidence because of that. And we encourage him to when he's missing to keep shooting. Even though he hasn't been missing really, but we have a lot of faith in him, and he has a lot of faith in us.
How important can that be on the road in an atmosphere that's probably going to be a little crazy?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's really important. It's important to have a guy like him who can silence a crowd at any time, and he can get hot at any time also.
What do you think that atmosphere is going to be like when you get up there to Toronto?
I'm sure it's going to be hectic up there. I'm sure it's going to be loud. It's going to be exciting. But that's what we play for. We're all excited for it. We know they got home court advantage, and but they also got to come to us too.
You faced Kyle Lowry several times. What's the biggest challenge? Cliff said he's a guy who wants to live in the paint and drive and kick. Talk about guarding him.
Yeah, he's tough. Kyle's a great player. He can really shoot the ball. His pull-up is, from three is really good. He gets in the lane. He gets offensive rebounds. He hustles. So those are the things we got to match with him. We know he's going to hit some shots, but we can't let him get offensive rebounds and out-hustle us, the whole series. So we got to match that intensity and make it hard for him.
What were your impressions of Vooch from afar when you didn't play with him, and what's your impressions now?
Playing against Vooch, it's always been tough. He's a very skilled big. He can knock down the shot. He's got every post move in the book. But even playing with him, it's even more impressive to see the things that he can do out on the floor. So he's our leader. He's our all-star, and he's a really good player.
I got dropped into this mix right as it seemed like a corner was being turned a little bit. When was the first time you got a sense that there was something special starting to happen with this group, and what was it that kind of tipped you off to that?
When I first got here, I know we were in the mix of making the playoffs, and I didn't really know where the team's mind was at, where their heads were at, and I knew within a couple days of how bad they wanted to make the playoffs, and I'm a competitor. I love playing. I've been in the playoffs before. I know how it is. So I wanted to be back there. So I was on the same page as them, and all I try to do is elevate us on defense, push the pace a little bit, and do anything to help the team to win.
Michael, what was you played in 11 postseason games, which you don't need me to mention it. What was your welcome to the postseason moment?
Being down 3-0 when I was in Milwaukee against the Bulls. I think, I didn't know what to expect coming into the playoffs, and once we took those losses, I felt like our whole team was like, okay, like we're settled down a little bit. We know what to expect now. Like this is playoff basketball, and after that, it was we had some success, and but then again, I knew what it was. I knew, how important it was to, study the playbook, how to, cross every T, dot every I, be super locked in and going there from the tip. And it's intense.
What can this team then do to prevent to be ready from the jump from in game one? That change.
We just got to continue what we've been doing. We've been locked in. We were really locked in Boston. We were locked in yesterday against Charlotte. We just got to keep that same intensity and pick it up a notch. Everybody's got to be locked in. Everybody's got to be on the same page. And, we're ready. We've been ready. We've had an amazing stretch that put us in this position. So we didn't put in all that hard work for nothing.
Back to Terrence a little bit. What does the defenses face in trying to stop Terrence? Because obviously they haven't been. But what's the difficulty?
I'm assuming it's real hard, just because you may not think he has a shot, from the three, and he still shoots it and he still makes it. We try to, our first option is try to find him in transition. So we try to get him shots when the defense isn't set, and then once he gets going, it's tough. There's not really much you can do.
Go in and get a split or even to win 2 games. Talk about going in and how important that would be.
It's important. It's important we get one there. Every game is important in the playoffs. But it would be, it would definitely be nice to, get one there and come back home, to get that home court advantage. We're taking it one game at a time. We know, we're a mature team. We know they're going to make runs on the road. The crowd's going to be loud. We just got to stick together and stay together and just be patient and do everything we can to win.
You've been with Coach Cliff for a while. How does the preparation change? How you've been through one practice now with him in the playoffs. How does the preparation change, if it does at all, entering the playoffs now? Is there a different part of the process to this now?
Definitely. It's more in depth. Scouting report's more in depth. We study a little bit more. We're able to. We got more time. We also, during the regular season, you also got to prepare for other games. So this is, we only got to prepare for one team. So we get to really dig into their plays and their sets and what they do defensively.
Everyone good?
Environment. What will it be like in that building for a playoff game?
It's going to be loud. It's going to be loud and not going to be on the feet the whole time. So we just got to play through that.
Mm-hmm. Cliff said you guys have gone in, won a lot of tough buildings. You've been in must-win mode lately. That may prepare you for what you're about to go into.
No, for sure. I think we still got, as a team, we still have that mentality that we got to win. So everybody right now is confident. We're studying up on the plays and personnel. So I think we'll be prepared.
With how well you guys have been playing, do you think you're one of those teams that the top 3 probably didn't want to see on the other side of the line?
I hope so. We're going to see. We won in that building before. We beat them here. So right there, that gives us confidence. So, we're looking at, an opportunity to win a series.
When Cliff said, think bigger in the locker room after you guys clinched, what did that mean to you and to the rest of the group?
Win. Just keep winning.
Do you guys have any sort of it didn't look like there was a happy-to-be-there attitude last night, especially with you and your performance. Do you feel like nationally you guys still aren't getting enough credit as how good of a team you are?
Yeah, it is what it is. People didn't expect us to get here, so, it doesn't matter at this point.
Terrence, what do you think this means to Vuce, who went through all 6 years of losing here and, never really complained and said he wanted to lead this team to the playoffs?
He's getting what he wants, man. He has his chance to do something special. And right now, we're in a perfect opportunity to do that, and I know he couldn't be any happier.
Jay, you've talked about how you're different as a player. We see it night and day in the way you're going at guys. How are you different as a person? You're married now. You got 2 kids. You've talked about there's been a maturity process for you, right?
That's what happens when you get married.
Is there something special for you to go back to Toronto for this, or didn't it matter?
No, it doesn't matter.
No.
How much has preparation, it's not been one practice, one day, or one film session, how much has preparation changed for you guys with the playoffs? Is there a difference?
When during the regular season, you have an idea of, what plays they go to, their go-to players, but now you kind of go a little deeper and just seeing their tendencies. You know, when the play breaks down, what do they do? You know, when each player, when they have the ball, what do they do? And those are the type of things that we kind of have to memorize and, you know, be cautious about when we're playing.
For players who haven't been in the playoffs, how much of an adjustment is that, and how someone who's been to the playoffs, how can you? Are you?
I mean, you'll see, man. You'll see. I mean, after the game one, they'll understand, and they'll kind of see what they need to do and what kind of intensity they need to bring every day.
Do you and, say, DJ, even Mozgov, say something to your teammates who haven't played extensive
I
playoffs?
mean, just play. I mean, it's going to be tough. They know, everybody knows playoffs is going to be tough. Nobody comes thinking that it's going to be, you know, all what it was for 82. Everybody knows it's going to be tougher. We're going to play the same team 4 times in a row. So they know it's going to be different. That's all they got to know.
I beg your pardon. What was your in your first playoff game?
Mm-hmm.
What was your first welcome to the playoffs moment?
Trying to guard Joe Johnson. Joe was much older, much stronger, and he pretty much, you know, it was kind of that playoff experience where, you know, we knew their plays, but at that point it came down to just guarding your man. And Joe was a lot more experienced. He didn't play around. He didn't mess with the ball. He just got a screen, put us on his hip, and then just kind of got to the paint and just did a floater. And that was working for him, so they stuck with that. So that's the kind of thing that you could probably expect, you know, when after game 2, 3, once, you know, everybody knows everybody's plays, it's going to be about, you know, who wants and who's going to, you know, just take over.
T, you know this from playing there. There's a weird game 1 thing in Toronto that you went through as a player. Can you go in there and maybe steal a game right away, catch a team off?
I mean, that's just, I don't know if they psyched themselves out or they, you know, the media out there has put too much pressure on them, but we could for sure go in there and sneak one out. But, you know, that's our mission right now is to win one in Toronto and come back here and make it a longer series.
2-13 all time in game 1. It's weird.
How cool is that book? That's the playoff book, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vaunted playoff book.
Yeah, no, I got the flash drive in my pocket, so I mean, before I go to sleep, I'll probably just put it into my PlayStation and just end up falling asleep watching clips or something. So
seems pretty cool to me.
No,
you and Kyle have been friends for years. I know that kind of goes out the window during playoffs, but can you just talk about that relationship? What impact he had on you and you on him?
I mean, I was kind of there when I saw Kyle go from, you know, he actually was coming off the bench my first year, and then end of that year he's starting. Second year he takes his game to another level, becomes an all-star. So I kind of, you know, had somebody to watch how to lay out the blueprint for me and kind of see, you know, what it takes. And even DeMar kind of helped me out with the, you know, what steps I need to take to, you know, evolve my game.
What does it mean to you to be a part of the Magic team that finally snapped the playoff drought here? The city's got an energy that hasn't had in a long time.
Feels great, man. I mean, we're all excited, you know, for the playoffs, but I mean, the guys personally, we're all excited for that first game home. That's going to be emotional for everybody, and I think that's going to give us like an extra pep in our step.
For you personally, Coach Cliff talked about even back in the offseason how determined you were to get back healthy, to have a great year. So now to have this opportunity again on the big stage, have you thought about what that means to you personally?
I mean, it feels good. I mean, but you still in the heat of it right now. So once the season's over, I'll probably look back and reflect. But right now, I'm kind of in just full go mode.
Do you guys practice defense more than maybe you have some other teams you've been on?
It's crazy because, you know, the beginning of the year, Cliff always talked about, you know, when he was with Charlotte, you know, the year he got there, they were, you know, last in almost everything. And then that year he had with them, you know, they didn't really work on too much in detail, but, you know, it was more of a mindset thing that they had an opportunity to go out there and change that stigma basically overnight. And I think that's kind of what happened here. We didn't do any crazy drills that are different from any other coaches. We didn't do anything special. We just kind of, you know, had a mental note of, you know, what we needed to do. We kind of stuck with that, and it was tough, but I think that's probably what's helping us play so well right now.
What is it like mentally? Are you just holding each other responsible? Or
Yeah, everything. Everybody holds everybody accountable. Everybody wants to be better. Everybody, you know, doesn't want to go through what we went through last year. So, you know, the more games we won, the more momentum we had, and I think that helped out with everybody. I think it's kind of, just kind of flew throughout the entire team, and I think that's exactly what we needed.
What about everybody? Cliff was saying everybody showed up for like the off season. Is that unusual or not?
No. I mean, we all, the past years. I mean, I was here. I was here for really since the time I got traded. But this summer we got together a little more. But I mean, not nothing too crazy. I think it was just more, how bad everybody wanted it, and I think that's what carried over into the season.
How about the consistency from Coach Clifford, the way he handles practice and games, and he hasn't really tinkered with lineups or anything like that?
I mean, he's been coaching for a long time, man. So he has the plan to win and do great. So I mean, he's a genius, and we kind of followed that plan, and it's working out.
Playoffs with momentum, how big is that? I mean, the role you guys have been on, I think you've won 11 of 13, 4 in a row. How big is that to take some momentum in?
That's good. It gives you confidence. It means we establish a way of playing that can work for us in the playoffs. Obviously, Toronto is a great team. They're going to try to go all the way to the finals, but we believe what we've done so far. I think these last 2-3 weeks where we every game mattered for us, where we had to bring our best, kind of prepared us in a way for that. So I think it was good for us to have those big games.
How you feeling?
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Just yesterday I had a little bit of a stomach bug, but it's much better today already.
Can you pinpoint kind of the difference in the team right now heading in, as compared to maybe 8 weeks ago, 10 weeks ago?
Yeah. I think it's just we're more mature in a way. We just understand what it takes to win better. We understand what works for us, what doesn't. And I think we do much better now is, if we get down or if, we have a lead and the team comes back, we're able to sustain it better. We don't fall apart. We don't panic. I think we really learned from our mistakes early in the year. So I think we just really established a way of playing. Our team chemistry has been great. We play for each other. We support each other. Offensively, we move the ball great. On defense, our communication is good. We already just, have a good feel for each other on the court. And it just comes from us, from the beginning. Just, with Coach Cliff preaching it every day, making sure we get it. And I think just as time went on, we got it. And like I said, those big games really helped us kind of cement that even more.
After the 6 years of losing, why did you continue to say, I want to be here, I want to be here, I want to lead this team out of this?
Well, like I always say, it's something that the loyalty of being with one team, I think, is something that's special. After I signed my deal with the Magic, it was 4 years, and I wanted to make it through, and just being here from the beginning, I wanted to be part of it. I felt like if I had left and on a bad note, let's say on the losing or something, it wouldn't feel right for me. And I think that now that we're in it, and everything is just, it was all worth it, I guess, because we made it, and just feels, feels great. And it wasn't always easy. There was difficult times, but I knew that eventually we'd get there, and we did. And so all of it, that we went through now, it just it feels fine because we made it, and it makes it even more special that we did it the way we did it.
Does the urgency you guys have been playing with, does that offset maybe the lack of playoff experience?
The what?
The urgency
down
the stretch.
Well, I think it definitely, like I said, I think prepared us for it a little bit. We had every game for us was important. Obviously, nothing compares really to the playoffs, the intensity of it, and where every play is important, every game is important. But it gave us, a certain way to kind of get a feel for it, and I think we can transfer that into the playoffs. Obviously, it won't be easy. Toronto's going to take it a step forward, and obviously they have guys that have a lot of experience in the playoffs that have played big games, meaningful games. But I believe that we know what it takes to play, and we just have to go out there and play hard, play smart. Make sure we bring it every play, and it won't be easy. Especially they're gonna have their fans are gonna be really behind them, and it's important for them to win the playoffs. But yeah, like I said, if we play the right way, we're gonna have a shot.
How important is Game 1 at Toronto?
It's important. It's the start of the series. You want to start off well. You want to establish a way that's going to work for you, that you can play well. But it's very important, especially the start of the game. Obviously you kind of want to see how the game is going to go and everything, but you want to make sure you play well. And the first game, especially for us, if we can go out there and win it, it could be huge. Especially for our confidence and everything. So it's a big game for both teams. It's the beginning of the series, so you want to come out right.
Saw the connection that Dirk had with the Dallas fans with his last game the other day. Could you ever foresee yourself having that sort of connection with the Orlando fans?
Yeah, I mean, of course. Obviously, he's done many great things for the Mavericks. He's won a championship. He's won many games. He had an amazing career. I don't know if I'll ever get to that level. No, it will be very hard. So, Dirk is one and only. So the things he achieved it's going to be hard for anybody else to do it. But yeah, he's one of the guys that I obviously look up to when he's done that. And I mean, you see the appreciation he got from their fans and what it means to them that he stayed there this whole time is special, man. Obviously, you don't see that nowadays as much. So we'll see. I mean, obviously in July I'm a free agent, so we'll see what happens.
But you saw Terrence a lot early in your career. You played against him for 5 years before he came here.
Played him in college too.
Yeah, in college too. Do you see a different guy now? I mean, he's taken more shots. He's taken more threes. He's made more threes than he ever has. A lot of coaches say he's a different guy now. Do you see that?
I think so. I mean, I didn't know him that well before, and it's hard to judge a guy when you just play against him a few times a year. But since he's got here, obviously, last year was difficult for him because he got injured early and he didn't play much. But I think that this year he just, I think he's, I don't want to say like matured, so it doesn't sound like he was immature before, but it was just, he just really took a step forward and kind of, he really, I guess he matured into his role. He really bought into his role, and he's become very consistent. We know what's expected of him, and he brings it every day. And I think that the role that Coach Cliff gave him really fits him well. And but you see just the growth that he had, the mental part as well. I think that was something that people always kind of try to hold against him. His consistency, but I think for us this year, it's been great. I mean, so many games, without his shot making, we don't win, and a lot of other things that he does as well for us.
What's Coach Cliff done for you to elevate your game?
Personally, a lot, man, a lot. I know since day one, since he got here, our communication's been great. He's really, kind of out there, had 2 difficult years here, last 2 seasons. He's, really kind of helped me, grow my confidence back. Really, just wanting to play through me, giving me the ball in the spots that work for me. All those things kind of help you grow as a player, and then just his approach, I think, me as everybody else on the team, we just fed off of it, and it's helped us grow as players, as a team. But just, I mean, the way he's been using me this year has been pretty much perfect for me. Played inside out, give me the freedom to use my skill set to do what I need to do out there, and but at the same time, holding me accountable. And by him doing that, I held myself accountable to a high standard as well.
You also had the reputation for not being like a good defender, but Cliff says you're a really good defender. Is that something he helped you with?
No, he did. I think the schemes that we have this year and the way we defend this year, I think it's helped not only me but everybody. I think I've made strides, with in that area as well, a lot. But just the way he's been using me, and just when you see a coach that has so much belief in you, like Cliff had in me since day one, without even ever coaching me before, just it means a lot to you as a player. I think no matter how old you are, and it's helped me a lot. And from day one, it's just behind me. He's been pushing me, and he's made me even want to ask me more for myself as well.
Would you please describe an instance in which he held you accountable?
Yeah, I mean, every game I sucked. He would come, he would tell me. Like the Dallas game on the road, before we went to Mexico, I didn't play well. And he told me I didn't play well. He held me accountable. And, I already knew myself, but, even just him, telling me things like that. And whenever he felt something I needed to do better, he would tell me. And nothing crazy. He would just, call me in 2 sentences. That was it, and I would get the message.
Did he do it in front of?
Yeah, he did it in front of teams as much as the team, a lot of times as well. And not a lot actually. They didn't have that many good bad games, but he did it in front of the team as well. And it was and I'm fine with it. I want to be coached that way, and I think it fits, with my personality, and it helps me elevate my game even more.
How important is it that he does that with the All-Star, the longest tenured guy?
No, it's very important. I think it sends a message to the team that if he does it to me, and it shows that he treats everybody the same, that no matter if you're the best player on the team or not, you're going to get the same treatment. And also my response to it, I think, shows the guy that if I can accept the criticism, that everybody should as well. And so, yeah, I never had any issues, with him. Actually, I appreciate when he does that, and I want him to be that way. But again, it wasn't never nothing like crazy. It was just normal criticism that you would want as a player.
Coach, you said years ago that Marcus is one of the strongest guys you've ever played. How are they different with him? It seemed like he tries to kind of move you off your spot and be physical with you. How is he different? How are they different with him?
Yeah, he brings a lot for them. Obviously, big body for sure, but just his IQ. He's just a very, very smart basketball player. Just does a lot of things for them out there. You look at the numbers since he's been there; they've been all up for them. With his rolling, his passing, his short rolling, his post ups, his 3-point shooting. Just elevates so much and just gives him a weapon out there that's makes it much harder for a defense. But just think he's just his IQ, man. When you put him on a guy that's like smart like that on the court, that has as much experience as he does, it's very difficult. And he puts a lot of pressure on the defense in many different ways, and it's helped him a lot for sure.
Everyone good?
Challenges us.
Yeah, no, fifth in offense, fifth in defense. Play with great pace. 6 in 3-point shooting percentage, and actually first since Gasol got there. So, and it's it's a ton of. Lowry off the dribble, but it's a ton of spot ups. They're very good with their ball movement, and we're gonna have to keep the ball out of the paint.
Steve, how would you describe your team's approach to defending Kawhi in the games he's played against?
So far, really good. He's averaged against us 18 a game, which is whatever it is below his average, and has been primarily Aaron. I think he's been. The great players, most of the time, it's always going to get back to it's the garbage points. What are they getting? Fast breaks? How many second chance points? Cuts, he's very good without the ball, and then the free throws. And when they shoot a lot of free throws or they get a lot of seconds or whatever, that's usually a guy like him. That's when they get from 23 to 33. And Aaron's been so disciplined about the way he's guarded him, that it's helped us.
What about J.I. on Seattle?
He's done the same. He's done a really good job on him, and he's the same way. He's a fast break phenom. Now, whether he has the ball or not, when you sit and watch film, he's always ahead of the ball. And, he's, again, great without the ball. He's all over the glass, and he's improved his skill level so much. That, look, with those good players, you got to be able to do it all, and those two guys have done a good job in the 4 games we've played them.
How is Jonathan?
Oh, he's still in protocol, so, we won't know until he gets done. It's a process. They have to do a bunch of stuff, so he's, you don't know until the end.
Okay, are you hopeful? Do you
You
anticipate him Saturday?
have no
or
idea. You're going to have no idea until they clear him.
The narrative right now is Magic could be a tough out in the first round. Does that motivate you guys at all, that's all the credit people are still giving you at this point?
Well, it's nice. I think we can win, too. I think that we all do. Look, no matter what, our guys have done a good job, but the NBA is about winning in the playoffs. And we have size, we have intelligence, and we're playing good basketball right now. So I think that, in that meeting that we just had, when I met with the guys there, I think there's a determination, a confidence level in how well we can play. They're a great team. To me, they've played, I think, in 3 of the last 4 Eastern Conference Finals. Mm-hmm. This is their best team. This is their best team. He's a superstar. And Kyle is terrific. And I think the Gasol piece has given them just a skill level that not many teams have. And they got, terrific other players. So, and yet, again, I think that we can play a game that's, allows us to play well against anybody in any building.
Building off of that, you guys played so well down the stretch, but that's regular season basketball. Can you carry regular season momentum into the postseason?
Oh, 100%. I think that's, again, that's one of the things I learned from the Van Gundys is, we have a way to do it. I told them that the first day with Jeff and Stan, it was always the same way. We do the shoot-arounds from game 1 through 82 like it's a playoff game. A lot of teams do 2 or 3 plays to review during the course of the season, and they'll do more in the playoffs. We do 8, 9 all year. And so I think that number one, it helps your habits, but also we won't have to change a thing here as we go through this. You know, the way we've been doing it is what Larry Brown used to say, game one counts just as much as 82. That's been our approach. It's helped us. And so that I feel comfortable with.
Well, if you coached against Terrence for years on the other side, a lot of coaches now say he's a completely different guy, that he's, you know, he doesn't defer as much as he used to DeRozan and Lowry. How did you get that out of him? How did you get him to come in with an aggressive mindset?
We don't have DeRozan and Lowry. That's it, you know? No, well, the only thing I would say about it is this. He's always a guy that you covered in the scouting report, even when he was younger. He had the ability, even then, to come into a game and change it with his shooting, his range shooting, and his shot making. And I think now, you know, they always say you never know a player until you coach him. My impression of him is this. I got here, he'd had a tough year last year, and you could tell just talking to him, he was very determined to get in great shape and have a good year. He worked really hard with Steve Hetzel. He came back in September early. He was in great shape, and that's what's led to this year. I mean, you know, it's simple. He's put a ton of hard work in. He's a talented guy, and he knows how he has to play well. I mean, last night now, I've seen some stuff. That was some shot making now. They are all over him. The way they defend him and Vuce, they're so locked into everything they do, and to be able to find space like he did last night was really, watching the film, like something to watch.
When you watching Vuce from afar when you weren't the coach, I mean, obviously he was here through all 6 years of the losing, never complained. Can you just address how much you think this means to him?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it means everything. And the thing for me with him is, and a lot of this I think started with Jeff and John, it's the three-point shooting. And that's why I think another year he can even take, you know, make more progress, because he was always such a good post-up player, you know, where he played more around the basket. And I know when they got here last year, they talked to him more about shooting threes, and, you know, he's added that to his game. And then that, for us, has led to all this playmaking, you know, where he's passing the ball to cutters. I think actually very similar to what Gasol does for them, what Jokic does for Denver. And when you have a five-man that can play facing the basket from three, and they have to close to him, it opens up the whole lane for everybody else. And it's even the nights when he doesn't make, Terrence is the same way. They create space for everybody else on every possession.
How's Vuce feeling today?
He was better. Yeah, they're in there. They're doing their kind of video meetings with the positional more thing, but he came in and worked out this morning. He said he felt a lot better.
When you guys clinched, you said, I believe it was think bigger in the locker room. I can imagine what you meant, but what did you mean by that, and how does that apply to the playoffs?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, it's like anything else. It's always, again, that's what this league is. Regardless of who's second and who's seventh, I mean, you know, to play well, you have to have a belief. I don't think it's far-fetched for our guys to believe that we'd have a chance to play against any team the way we've played here this last 30, 31 games. And so, you know, I mean, when we're right, you know, I think they're, oh man, like second, third, fourth best home record in the NBA this year, but we won in that building, and we played a really good game up there. So we've won in tough buildings. Again, so we should have a confidence level.
In your experience, how tough is it, though, for a team to come in that doesn't have the playoff experience, and what are some of the biggest challenges they have to overcome early, especially in the season, or early in the series?
Yeah, I mean, it's still, to me, it's still basketball. And, you know, these guys are the best players in the world, and they've played big games their whole lives. And there's no rule that says you can't be really good the first time you go to the playoffs. I mean, let's put it this way. I was here the first time the Celtics got together. Everybody said it would take them a couple of years, and it didn't. So, and I know, I mean, you know, you got Pierce, Garnett, Allen, and all that, but still, it's, you know, I mean, I'm not even thinking that way. We need to play well, defend, get the ball going to the basket. Against this team, you can't turn the ball over. That's when they're at their best. But we're playing well right now, so I mean that's what I think about.
What will be the biggest difference that players who haven't played in the playoffs will
Intensity.
discover?
Intensity. It's a different intent. There's nothing like NBA basketball, playoff basketball.
They say the style of play changes in the playoffs. Does your style? It seems like your style of play would you already play that way.
That's what I believe. Yeah, no, I believe that we played playoff basketball all year, and I think that's what you want to do. Again, we're big, and you know, our defense has been really good here for the last 31, 32 games. And we're also, though, our offense has gotten a lot better too. So they're super balanced, but I think we can be balanced also.
If you touched on this a couple weeks ago, you basically have been in must-win mode for 2 or 3 weeks now. Does that help you going into this scenario?
No, absolutely. I mean, I think that, you know, because you have to play with an edge, you know, and you know, we've a lot. You know, think about. You know, we win against Philly here. We have to go to Miami. They've been sitting there rested for 2 days. Our guys played great. You know, losing Detroit, which was a big game because of the tiebreaker. We went to Indiana and we played well there. So, I mean, we've bounced back a lot. We've played well.
What exercise in the protocol is JI on now?
I don't. See, they have to do all this stuff and then they have to do a same thing. So it's the same thing. I think I've told you that before. When you coach in this league, you get up in the morning and they tell you who can go and who can't, and then you worry about the guys that can go. That's it.
What's it say about Vuce that he had been here 6 years through the losing and never complained, said he wanted to stay?
He likes warm weather. Juan, that's what I would say. No, I mean, I know he loves it here. You know, and he's a phenomenal person, as you guys know. A great teammate, high character, and great basketball IQ. Just terrific.
Just curious, Stephen. You heard from Turk all the way from Turkey, Jameer, all those guys. Who are some of the more unusual people you heard from?
Oh no, just people from my past. I mean, you know, nobody crazy.
Everyone good?
Mike.